is blind. Have you heard about this thing?
Yes.
Love is blind. When you want to get married, you don't see negative things. You know? No, everything will be fine. But you don't have money enough. Oh, God will provide. And now this time God is special because God provides. You know that Elijah had food provided by the raven, so I can marry her. But don't think that God is going to provide you food from the raven with her. God will provide. Everything, you know, it's like it's going to work out well. So people say, Pauline Thomason said, love is blind, but marriage opens your eyes. Do you agree with that? It is very difficult to know the defects, the flaws of character of one person. You see that every day. You know, famous people, they get married, and then they get divorced, and their wife goes there and write a book about him. Telling everybody what he does. And he can't do anything about it because it's all true. She was with him 24 hours a day. What are you going to do with the difficulties that you find in your husband and your wife? We have to find a way. We have to find a way to sort it out. The Romans, you know, found a very funny way, very interesting way. You know that I wonder if in your countries you have the habit of, you know, for honeymoon, the husband has to carry the woman into the room. Do you have that kind of thing in your culture there, in your country? You don't?
Yes.
Yes? How many of you have that in your countries there? So in Brazil it's like that. I mean, I get married, right? So before I enter the room where honeymoon will happen, so I'm supposed to carry my wife in my arms and start, you know, entering the room with my right foot. It's important. It came from the Romans. But if you find out the reason why it came to be like that, it's so interesting. What do they believe? They believe that during honeymoon, you know, when the couple goes for the honeymoon night, all the devils try to get into the room, you know, to destroy their marriage in the honeymoon. Alright? The only way for you to stop the devils to come into the room is if you enter the room with your right hand, with your right foot. So, you are here to enter the room, you start with the right foot, so the devils cannot get in. But if you make a mistake and start on the left, all they come in, and then your marriage is down the drain. But what was the problem? The problem is they said, the Romans, don't say that I'm thinking that way, that I think that way. I'm talking about what the Romans used to think, right? So the Romans would say, women are not very good in their brains. So if I get with my wife into the room, she's most likely going to be using the left foot. Even if I use the right foot, she's going the left foot. And then the devils are going to come into the room. Best thing to do to avoid it is what?
Carry her.
Carry her. And make sure you do the right foot. And it is an interesting way to sort out the problem. This is the Roman way of doing things. But at least it brings a lesson. Not the lesson that women had problems, no. It is just the Romans that thought that way. We know that it is not true at all. But the idea, the lesson that comes in is we have to find a way to sort the problem out. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 11. Can I have you read it with me? 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 11. It says, therefore, you got your Bible there, don't you? Let's read it together. Therefore, encourage one another and build one another up, just as you are doing. Of course, Paul was talking this, you know, giving this thing to the church, but it is pretty welcome for the marriage relationship. Therefore, encourage one another and build one another up, just as you are doing. What you have to do in marriage is to encourage your husband, your wife, to change their way of living, to change their style of living, to, get him or her closer to God. That's your job as a husband. That's your job as a wife. I'm going to read Ellen White, Adventist Home. You're going to see something very interesting, and I'm going to get close to you to read this one, right? And you're going to find that the key words here have to do with changing. Like she was saying, as you get married, you're going to change. Change yourself, change your wife, change your husband. She wrote the following. She was giving advice to some family. She wrote, if your dispositions are not congenial, would it not be for the glory of God for you to change these dispositions? Sometimes you say, no, I'm just like that, I'm not going to change, I'm never going to change. You've got to change your disposition. Again she says, a husband and wife should cultivate respect and affection for each other. Two things. What? Respect and affection for each other. They should guard the spirit, the words, and the actions so that nothing will be said or done to irritate or annoy. Sometimes we're tempted,
Yes.
to say things at home. Yes? What is it you're saying? I'm saying, translate it. I don't speak that language. Just go on, don't go ahead. Because if you start saying things you're going to, say things you're going to regret later. So, each is to have a care for the other, doing all in their power to strengthen their mutual affection. Strengthening mutual affection. I tell you both to seek the Lord, she wrote. In love and kindness, do your duty one to the other. The husband should cultivate industrious habits, doing his best to support his family. This will lead to his wife to have respect for him. Do you want me to read again? No, I don't think you do. I don't think you do. But he's always there, just sleeping every day. And I am working hard. We're not going to get up and get a job. We're not going to get a job. When I get a job, I get up. You get what I mean? Anyway. My sister, she says, you cannot please God by maintaining your present attitude. Forgive your husband. He's your husband. And you'll be blessed in striving to be dutiful, affectionate wife. And let the law of kindness be on your lips. You can and must change your attitude. You have to change your attitude. You have to change the way you deal with your wife. You have to change the way you deal with your husband. So that you can go happier and happier. Forever, amen. But I'll tell you a very serious thing now. And is this door unlocked? Is that door unlocked, Brother David? That one is not locked, is it? Because after I say what I'm going to say, I probably have to use this emergency exit there. So just make sure it is not locked. Yeah, alright. And I hope nobody has parked it behind my car. Because I'll be in trouble. Okay. If you have problems there, now listen to what I'm saying. If you have problems there in your family, you can't sort it out. There is only a way to get it done. Like you know which way is that? Like you know which way is that? Change your spouse. Don't say that. This is hard. Change your spouse.
Right. Because this is right.
Open the door. Yeah. But don't think that I'm saying what you think I said. Change your spouse, not listen that you can get another one.
Right.
Somebody has to change. And who's this somebody? Me, myself. That's the spouse who has to change. Sacred marriage again, to finish. How long the road is following? The problem with couples is not exactly lack of love. No, the problem is that we don't have that